This is one of the most isolated parts of China, the Xinjiang Region, and Kashgar is one of its largest cities.
I mean, this is a region that we have always wanted to go to ever since we were little. And we haven't been able to for one reason or another, whether it's because this area was kind of off limits to foreigners or just, it's far too,
Kashgar is just about as far west as you can get in China. And back in the old days of the Silk Road, merchants would breathe a sigh of relief when they rolled into town. The city provided a welcome respite from the heat of the desert.
And Western traders traveling through the treacherous Pamir Mountains would know that their journey had been worth it when they finally reached Kashgar.
Kashgar feels really different. It's not like any other part of China we've seen before.
Yeah, no, you feel really far away.
Yeah.
And even the faces and stuff feel far away.
I know.
If you look around here, no two faces are alike, and you don't see anybody that looks even remotely Chinese.
That's because these people are Uyghurs, more closely related to Turks than the Han Chinese, who make up over 90% of the country's population.
If you look at a map, Kashgar is closer to Moscow and New Delhi than it is to Beijing.
And it played an important role back in the days of the Silk Road, a central location next to one of the few mountain passes camel caravans could get through.
The Silk Road began as a route into China around 300 BC and grew to span over 6,400 kilometers during the Roman Empire.
And for the next few centuries, if the Chinese wanted to get their goods to markets in the Middle East and Europe, a good plan was to go through Kashgar.
Or if Westerners wanted to bring their goods to China, this was a common route they took. And that's why we're here, to retrace some of the most ancient parts of the Silk Road, to get a sense of what it was like in the past, and what's in store for the future.
With so many people coming and going through Kashgar for centuries, the city is a cultural melting pot. But with China's recent surge in modernization, we want to see which traditions are surviving, evolving, or disappearing entirely. One thing that hasn't changed is Kashgar as a commercial center. For those camel caravans heading through the mountains, this was the place to buy, sell, and trade. And a lot of money changed hands in the city's markets and bazaars.
And it's no different today, especially with the fast-breaking festival after the end of Ramadan. This place is crawling with people, and you see copper, and you see fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
And
it has a real kind of trading feel and stuff, it looks like.
I can't tell who's buying and who's selling. And
I can't tell who's going to hit me on their motor scooter either. Uh-oh. Watch the bus.
The Xinjiang region is kind of like a Chinese version of the Wild West. It was a rough and tumble frontier kind of place, where the men carried swords and knives and knew how to use them.
As our search for the perfect hat continues, we finally find a couple that might work.
I think we've found our hats.
Now to close the deal. 你会说中文?
Can you speak Chinese or English?
Well, that didn't go as planned. Pete and I speak some Mandarin Chinese that we learned as kids living in China, but neither of us speak the local language Uyghur, so we're stuck.
But not for long.
I speak English. Can I help you?
We meet Ali, a local guide who offers us some much-needed help with the Uyghur language.
My name is Ali.
Ali, I'm Jeff.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Jeff.
Can you help us find a hat? We've tried on a few, but we haven't found...
Here's the one, very traditional, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, please try it.
Okay. Ali is the kind of man who'd have earned a good living in the earliest days of the Silk Road. A man who spoke other languages and acted as a fixer for people passing through.
Let's call it tile hat.
Back then, it was traders and merchants. Today, a couple of American photographers looking for hats.
I think it's good size.
What do you think?
Not bad. I think you look good. You look like a Uyghur man.
Yeah.
So what else is there to see in Kashgar?
For example, like hats, you mean?
Hats?
It turns out Ali learned his English watching films. But like many of the people that have lived here for generations, he's Uyghur, and he knows the culture and heritage of Kashgar inside and out.
Is there any chance that you could take us around and kind of translate?
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Okay.
So we've got ourselves a guide for the next few days.